Welcome to DreamShare, a bi-weekly podcast where we talk about dreams, share dreams we have, and figure out what they could mean. I'm your host, Sarah Strunk, and I'm here with my co-host and my brother, Christopher.
Hello.
And we also have our father here today.
Woohoo!
Charlie, also known as Dad.
Sometimes dud.
Sometimes Dud.
Thank you, autocorrect.
Darn autocorrect. And it's stuck forever.
Maybe I should use like a, hello, this is my radio voice.
Oh, maybe we should all do that. Hello.
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 Welcome to DreamShare.
I'm your host.
Everyone is taking host privileges away from you, Sarah.
It's true. You, Josh, our own father.
You're fired.
Well, welcome to DreamShare.
Thank you.
This week, I thought it would be fun, because I know you have some fun stories, but I thought it would be fun to talk about sleepwalking. And we've talked in previous episodes about, so when you dream in the stage of sleep that's REM, or rapid eye movement. But in that REM dream sleep stage, your muscles relax and you're not able to move them, which is good because you can't act out your dreams. But I was thinking, well, then how do we sleepwalk? And it just got me wondering, so I did a little bit of light research. Do you want to know?
Why, yes.
No, thank you. It was very quiet.
Do tell.
There was just dead silence. I was like, I guess they don't want to know.
I would like to point out real quick that at the beginning of the episodes, you always are like, we find out what dreams mean. But this episode might be a little different in the fact that we're not probably going to find out what the dreams mean this episode.
Oh, that's a good point, too.
Yeah, there might not be dreams this episode. It's just going to be mainly about sleepwalking.
Well, you did that. You did that great, Christopher.
Thank you. I have some hosting practice now.
Okay, so back to sleepwalking. Sleepwalking, also known as somnambulism, which I think is a very fun word. It actually occurs, well, actually, scientists don't really know why we sleepwalk, but the theory of sleepwalking is that it occurs in the deepest stages of sleep, and that's stages 3 and 4. So those are the stages that come right before REM sleep. But during these stages, your brainwaves are the slowest. They slow down they're like snails, but you still have control of your muscle movement. Whereas when you're dreaming, when you're in that rapid eye movement stage, you don't have control of your muscle movement. So scientists theorize that sleepwalking occurs during these stages of sleep.
Interesting. So it happens before you actually get to the dreaming.
I guess you could argue it happens before and after because it's a cycle.
Okay.
But that's what sleepwalking is, what I just described. But why we sleepwalk, like what triggers us to move our bodies in those deep stages of sleep, is still a little bit unknown. However, scientists theorize that sleepwalking is triggered when the stages of sleep are skipped, or like when the brain is being active at an inappropriate time for it to be active.
At an inappropriate time.
Inappropriate. It is inappropriate for you to be walking.
Wow.
So if you skip a stage of sleep, that is potentially what causes sleepwalking.
Yes.
I see.
And they know this, or they theorize this, because they did a bunch of studies. Dad, you can probably talk to this, but children sleepwalk a lot more than adults. And this is a perfect episode to have you on the podcast because you can tell if you remember any of our sleepwalking stories.
Because we are your children.
Yes, thank you for making that clear.
Yeah, I just wanted to let everybody know.
Truth in advertising.
Yep.
So the scientists that I was researching this article, and we'll link where I found this information in the episode description, they were talking about how in the studies they did witnessing children and sleep cycles, the children didn't have enough GABA, which is a chemical messenger of the brain, and it essentially inhibits the brain's motor system while you're sleeping. And because they're younger, their brains are still developing, they don't have the same highly developed network of neural connections, and they're missing that GABA. So sometimes, because they don't have the inhibitor to inhibit, can I say inhibit one more time? They don't have those little blah, 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 stop moving. They don't have those, so then they move in their sleep. But as the brain develops, they grow out of sleepwalking, usually.
I don't know if this is in your facts or not. There's also a sleep disorder called REM sleep behavior disorder, I believe. And that makes it so while you're actually in REM sleep, your body is not paralyzed and you can act out your dreams. I think I talked about this a little bit on the last episode.
Oh, with the cat.
Yeah, with the cat, except this is in humans, and basically that can also be a cause of sleepwalking.
Yeah, I saw that in the article too, and it said that if you are an adult who suffers from sleepwalking and it gets in the way of things, or you're sleepwalking into places where you shouldn't, you should go see a doctor. But it could be part of a mental illness, it could be part of clinical depression, it could also be a sign or a symptom of alcoholism.
Oh, no.
Oh no. Yeah, sorry to take a turn. It could also be side effects of some drugs, like prescription drugs. But overall, with those facts, sleepwalking doesn't often happen in adults. It more likely happens in children, and it happens, scientists theorize, because there's that disruption in the sleep cycle.
I was a sleepwalker, and I'm trying to remember, I think I was probably around, I'm talking age-wise, I think maybe like 10 to 13.
Yeah.
But, as an adult, my sleepwalking has pretty much stopped. Although maybe I do and just no one notices. But, I do agree that the younger, the more activity you see with sleepwalking. So,
yeah.
And that's when my sleepwalking occurred.
Another fun fact, really quick, sleepwalking is partially genetic.
Oh.
So if like dad was a hard sleepwalker when he was younger, he could have given us those genes.
Oh.
I remember a few times sleepwalking. Well, I don't remember them, but I remember people telling me. So yeah, so if you're a frequent sleepwalker, your kiddos might have it too.
Cool.
Thank you. So I guess with that said, do you guys have any stories about sleepwalking?
I only have one. I don't know about you, Dad.
Yeah, I have two that I remember. I'm sure there were more, but the first one was, you have to kind of visualize the house that I grew up in Pittsburgh. And it was a 3-story. There were, let's see, how many people? 1, 2, 3, 4. There were 6 people in this house, small Pittsburgh house, 1 bathroom. My bedroom was in the attic on the 3rd floor. And I had to walk through my parents' bedroom to get to the bathroom or any other part of the house. But the first story was I was sleepwalking and I came down the steps and I went through my parents' bedroom and I woke my mother up. And she said, Charlie, what are you doing? And I said, oh, I'm going to go make a pot of tea. And she just, I'm trying to remember. I think she woke me up, which, now when you read the research, it's like, oh, don't wake him up. But she basically said, oh, no, you're not. Just go back to bed. And then from what I recall, I promptly turned around and went back to bed.
Wow.
But I think the most bizarre one, and I don't, it's typical sleepwalking. I don't remember any details other than when I woke up in the morning. But I woke up in the morning and I'm laying in my bed up in the attic on the 3rd floor. And it feels like there's sand in my bed. So I roll over and then I feel an object, which, as it turned out, it was a dinner plate. And then I sat up in bed and I looked to see what was, what felt like sand. And my whole mattress and sheet was covered with crumbled chocolate chip cookies and melted chocolate chips.
Oh my God.
Apparently in the middle of the night, I sleptwalked to the kitchen and put about a half dozen chocolate chip cookies on this plate and brought it back to bed to eat, which I never ate, but I laid on. And it was just this like big mess in the morning, melted chocolate and crumbs and everything. And I don't remember, it's like the missing chapter. It's like, how did I get here? But that's probably the most bizarre thing. And then I started to worry about it. It's like, well, what happens if, like you sleepwalk and you're naked and you go outside and you start walking through the neighborhood naked? Or I was on the 3rd floor. What if you sleepwalk and you fall down the steps and hurt yourself? But then, I did some research and it's like, yeah, that doesn't usually happen. Usually when you're sleepwalking, you don't walk around naked through the neighborhood and you don't murder people. And
Oh my God.
I just stuck to chocolate chip cookies, pretty harmless.
That's good. I'm glad.
That escalated so fast. You don't walk around naked or murder people.
Well, these are just extreme examples.
On one end, the cookies. On the other, murder.
Oh my gosh.
I'm 12 years old. I worry that I'm going to turn up 8 blocks away in the city of Pittsburgh totally naked at 4 a.m.
That would not be good.
No, and you know what? From what I understand, it doesn't happen that way. So I could be wrong.
There must be something in the brain that, like, where your furniture is,
Yeah.
Like, haven't you seen a movie? I don't know what movie it is, but someone, like, rearranged the furniture in the night and someone, like, came down the stairs and then they tripped over everything because it wasn't where their, like, muscle memory remembered it.
Right. And you guys know the Pittsburgh house, how steep those steps are.
Yeah.
If you're going to take a tumble.
You murder yourself.
Yeah. So, you're sound asleep. I don't know. Maybe somebody else could answer this, but I don't know if you sleepwalk with your eyes open or what.
Oh.
But you know how steep those steps are.
Yeah.
I don't know how many times I walked up and down those 3 flights of steps. But...
I can barely do those steps when I'm awake.
Yeah. Yeah. So I survived the steps.
Wow. I know people fall asleep with their eyes open.
Yeah.
That's creepy. But I don't know about sleepwalking.
It might be like when you're sleepwalking, it's just not retained in your short-term memory or it's not retained in your long-term memory. So maybe you're awake to some degree, probably. I don't know, Sarah. You got any research to back this up?
Well, your muscles
Come
are
on,
alert.
Sarah.
Your brain... I'm a failure.
I think you lost your host privileges. Next episode will be Dad hosting.
Oh my gosh. I think to a certain extent, based on the research I did, your brain has to be aware. Like, your brain is aware in the way that it connects to the muscles to make them move, to make them go places like that. Obviously, your muscle memory knows where to go. And, like, you have that want. Like, you're like, okay, I want to make tea. I want to eat cookies. And then you just go and do that.
I want to murder.
Well, hopefully not. But I don't know for sure if you're walking around like with your eyes closed, like you look like you're asleep, or if you're kind of just like in a daze. I've never personally seen anyone sleepwalk.
Yeah.
I've seen myself in the mirror after I woke up.
What?
Wow.
So we were at Aunt Babs's and I was sleeping on the couch in her living room. And I woke up one night taking a shower.
Really?
Yeah. And I think I told you guys about this, but I barely remembered it until Sarah and I were talking.
I remember that.
Yeah. Like I had not showered that day or something like that. I must have been like 14-ish or something like that. Like early teens. I was going through that no shower phase, that everybody goes through, of course.
Oh, gosh.
Really? That's news to me.
That's what that smell was. Oh.
The no shower phase.
Dad, we brought you on to tell stories, but I feel like we're just telling you our stories.
Yeah, I know. I'm learning so much today.
I'm just admitting a lot. I'm like, yeah, when I didn't take showers.
I remember, though, Christopher, when you woke up, like the next morning, you were like, my butt cheek hurts. Like my butt cheek.
Yes.
I think you burned it.
Yes, I did burn my butt cheek because Babs's shower.
From the hot water?
Yes, from hot water.
Ah.
Her shower is the opposite of most showers, where if you turn it.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. So it's like, so I had turned it a little, which would normally be cold water, but in that shower, it's boiling hot. So I woke up in the shower. It wasn't a bathtub. It's that vertical, like rectangular shower. And I was just standing in the corner facing the wall. I was naked, so I'd successfully taken off all my clothes. And the water was just hitting my butt cheeks. And it was so hot.
Is that when you woke up?
Yeah, I woke up at some point because I was like, ow, 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 ow. And then I woke up and I was just like, why am I in the shower? Why is it boiling hot?
Right.
And I got out of the shower. The door was open and one of her cats was there just looking at me. And I looked in the mirror and I was like, yep, no clothes.
Oh my gosh.
Fortunately, they were just on the floor. So I put all my clothes back on. I just went back to bed. I think it must have been like I hadn't showered in a day or two. And I was like, oh, I feel really gross. I got to go shower. So I just did it in my sleep.
Wow. I did do some research on if it was okay
Did
to
you,
wake
Sarah?
people.
Really?
I know. Oh my up.
That's not really the vibe that I'm getting.
Anyway, well, because Dad mentioned earlier, he was like, you're not supposed to wake sleepwalkers. And I was like, really? Is that true? Or is that like an urban legend or something, like the Mothman?
Yes, that's an excellent
Mothman.
question, Sarah.
So I did a little light research.
Okay.
And and I actually found out that it's not necessarily dangerous to wake someone, but one, it's very difficult to wake them because they are in the deepest stages of sleep and their brainwaves are so slow that like bringing them back to an alert brain level activity, it would be very difficult. But then two, they're also just going to be really confused at where they are, what they're doing. Like if someone woke you up in the shower, Christopher, you'd probably be like, why did you put me in the shower?
Thank God no one found me in the shower.
Hey, pass me the shampoo.
Yeah, if I woke up and someone was like, oh, hey, can you pass me the shampoo? I'd be like, oh, who are you? Sorry, I cut off your research.
No, well, no, that was all I had. It's not dangerous.
Wow, that really was a little research.
Sarah, I bet you didn't think you were going to get bullied this episode.
Yeah, by your own father.
Yeah, no. Episode title is Bullied by My Own Father, DreamShare number 7.
That's a good episode title.
Oh, man. Well, I have two stories that I don't remember. One I remember and one I was told. But I talked to Dad recently before we start recording about this, and he didn't remember. So it's probably going to be news to him. But he was the one who told me about it. But I remember when I was in like early elementary school, and I was staying with Dad's house on the weekends, and Tracy and Dad were in the basement. I think they were watching a movie or something. I don't know where you were, Christopher, but they had this pile of laundry on their bed. Like they just did it and then dumped it and was like, oh, we'll fold it later. And I guess I was really cold in my room. So I remember like crawling underneath the blanket and like literally like a cat, like curling up inside under the laundry pile. But what I don't remember is how I got back to my bed the next day. And I think it was because Tracy came in and like poked me and was like, Charlie, why has this laundry pile gotten bigger since we watched that movie? And then it was me underneath it. But then I don't know if I walked back or if someone probably carried me.
I think we carried you back, but I really can't remember that. I was like, wow. It's like I blocked that out.
You blocked it out because it was scary?
No. The one that I remember, which has nothing to do with sleepwalking, was it was in the morning and you came in our bedroom and you're looking in his shopping bag and you come over and tap me on the shoulder and say, Dad, there's a narwhal in that bag.
I remember this.
I'm like, what? She says, no, really, there's a narwhal in that shopping bag. So I get out of bed, and this goes back to Quincy, another episode of Quincy being responsible. So I look in the shopping bag, and it's not a narwhal, but it's a bird. And the bird is just kind of sitting in the shopping bag. And it was one of these things where Quincy brought a bird in, and then it just started flying around the house. And then it ended up hiding in the shopping bag. But I'll never forget that. It's like, Dad, there's a narwhal in the shopping bag. It's like, first of all, what is a narwhal? This is before narwhals were popular.
Before they were mainstream.
Yeah, before they were, yeah. But yeah, I remember that.
I think I had just watched Elf, the movie Elf, and there's a narwhal in there that's like, bye, buddy, good luck finding your dad. And I think I like learned what a narwhal was, and the bird had a really long beak and it was pointing up right at me. So it looked like a little narwhal.
That has absolutely nothing to do with sleepwalking. But
I like that story, though. I remember that.
The stuff your children say to you that confuse the heck out of you.
yeah,
Oh my
I
God.
tell you.
Oh, this episode could be way more bullying.
We should probably get back on topic here.
Yeah, because I don't think my first story actually involved me sleepwalking at all. I think I just saw a large pile of laundry and went, that looks nice. But the story that I do have about sleepwalking, and I do remember this, I don't know if you remember it, Christopher, but it had to do with you.
Oh, yes, I do.
I remember when you were in high school, I was in middle school or around that age difference where it was like this drastic age difference. It was like, yeah, you're annoying little sister or whatever.
Well, you're still like that.
Well, yeah, oh my God, continue bullying me. Just let it all out. But I remember waking up in your bed I was on top of the covers and I was just like laying there. And I remember waking up because I heard you yell, "Get out of my bed!" And then I was like, what? And I fell back asleep and then I woke up back in my bed.
Yes, I opened my eyes and you're just laying there on top of my covers, like mouth open, like fully asleep. And I was like, Sarah, what are you doing? And you were like, I'm looking for mom. I was like, mom's not here. Go back to bed. And then you left. You got up, you left my room, and you went back to bed.
Okay, you make it sound a lot nicer, but I'm pretty sure your tone of voice was not that friendly.
Well, Sarah, this is not the bully me episode. This is the bully you episode.
Oh, man. Well, I guess let's move on to the final segment of the podcast today. So normally we do a community dream where someone emails us their dream that they had and we share that. However, I thought it would be really fun to reach out on the DreamShare Instagram and ask people what their experiences with sleepwalking and sleep talking have been. And I actually got a lot more responses than I thought. So I'm just going to share them and chime in wherever you want. So a couple people, Aaron and Jack, they just wrote that they talked in their sleep. It was mostly gibberish. Anderson writes, I just stood in front of my parents' bedroom. That's creepy.
That is extremely creepy. I'm going to have to ask him about this at a later date.
He just stood there. He didn't elaborate. That's all he wrote to me. Oh my God.
Oh, Jacob, when Jacob would sleep over, Jacob would talk in his sleep. It was mostly gibberish from what I can remember, but like he'd be on the top bunk and he would just be like, hey, hello, and I'd be laying there and it was like 7 a.m. and I'm like, what? And he's like,
You don't understand that? I understand it perfectly.
Oh, you can translate?
No.
Yes. Arai wrote, I kept repeating, I need you to sign the documents and send them to me over and over again.
Interesting.
It's just... Katie writes, my brother and I slept talk to each other in gibberish from across the hallway one night.
Oh my gosh.
Which is, I guess their mom or dad probably saw it. Dally wrote, I went to the kitchen for water and my brother freaked out because I almost threw a knife on my foot.
Oh my God. At what point in the water getting processed do you need a knife?
I don't know.
Seriously.
I don't know if she meant I dropped a knife or she wrote I threw a knife at my foot.
That could blow my theory that you're not going to hurt yourself.
Yeah, that's true.
Or murder.
Yikes.
Or murder.
Yeah.
Here's one that really perplexed me. So Kirsten wrote, when my siblings peel my eyes open when I'm asleep, we have conversations I don't remember.
Okay, first of all, Kirsten, you need to have a talk with your siblings.
Kirsten.
That one really got me. When Kirsten wrote that, I immediately wrote back. I was like, Kirsten, what do your siblings do?
It's a family thing. Oh my Lord.
Oh my God. Oh man. So Kat wrote, sometimes I've laughed in my sleep, and once I think I yelled at my partner about a cabbage.
Okay. A cabbage.
No,
Cabbage.
these are getting a little bit crazier. Heather wrote, I spoke Spanish, but my roommates don't speak Spanish, so they can't tell me what I said.
Wait, was I her roommate at the time?
I don't know. I didn't ask. Well, and last, but certainly not least, Katie wrote, I was wandering
Again?
around... different Katie, sorry.
Oh, okay.
Katie with a K instead of a C.
Oh.
Fancy.
Katie wrote, I was wandering around my family home and walked into my aunt's room, where I started rummaging through one of her end tables, and apparently was looking for bullets because they're coming. Mind you, I was 8 years old, and we didn't grow up with guns in our household.
Oh my God.
Oh, wow. That's a good one.
I'm looking for bullets because they are coming.
Wow.
If an 8-year-old came into my room, looked through my drawers, and told me that, I would leave. I would get out of town.
I would move. I'll leave $20 for pizza and I'm out of there.
But yeah, the DreamShare community really came in strong on this one.
Yeah, that's really awesome. Except for the one with the eyelids. I'm not sure how I feel about that.
Oh, Kirsten, Kirsten, maybe Kirsten needs to have a talk with her siblings about why they peel her eyes open.
I would
when
like
she
to talk to Kirsten about this if possible. I have a lot of questions.
Well, if you have a dream or a sleepwalking story or even a question about dreams that you want us to lightly research, you can email us at dreams.dreamshare@gmail.com. And who knows, we might share it on the podcast. Check us out on Instagram at DreamShare Podcast. If you liked what you heard today, please share it. You can follow us on Spotify. I'm not really sure how to rate and review and follow, but you can probably figure it out. I don't know. Anyway, follow us on Instagram. Follow us for more updates and more DreamShare podcasts. Thanks again to our lovely Dud for attending this beautiful episode and sharing stories of his childhood. Thanks, Dad.
Oh, it was fun.
Very enthusiastic.
Glad to do. I'm using my radio voice. Glad to do it.
Oh, thank you, Charles.
Oh, not at all. Thank you.
Well, thank you for tuning in, and sweet dreams.
I'm going to go and peel your eyelids open tonight.
Okay, that's enough. That's enough. We're done. Sweet dreams. Goodbye.
Goodbye.